You found the Taxi Stand Hour.
I've fallen, and I can't get up.
On Radio TFI.
Join the conversation. You can reach the guys at 754-800-CHAT, 754-800-2428, on Twitter at Taxi Stand Hour. From a payphone, call collect.
So most people have a fear of acquiring the virus. I think a good way of doing it is to imagine that you do have the virus, yeah, and change your behaviour so that you're not transmitting it. Don't think about changing your behaviour so you won't get it. Think about changing your behaviour so you don't give it to somebody else.
As somebody always said, if you can't say anything nice about anybody, come sit by me.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Taxi Stand Hour on Radio TFI and on the Radio TFI streaming network. We are here to you live on this Sunday, May 2nd of 2021. From the Northern Command Studio in Eagan, Minnesota, I'm John Shannon. And from Queens, New York, in the still under construction Radio TFI Executive Tower, it is the one and only Ed Van Ness. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, kids and kittens. As always, we trust you've had a fantastic week. Here we are. We're full into spring now. I actually wore short pants this week, outdoors. It was a beautiful thing. I trust you're wearing the clothing that you feel most comfortable in this week. Welcome aboard. We got a few things to talk about today. And the clip we just played coming out of the intro, that was the lovely, the talented Olivia Dukakis, who we lost a few days ago at the age of 89. That was a scene from Steel Magnolias. Fantastic, funny. She has the most hilarious character in that. And every line she has in that movie is just dripping with sarcasm, just like that one. That was one of my favorite lines. If you don't have anything nice to say about somebody, come sit by me.
Yeah. I don't know. Now, I'll be the judge as far as sarcasm here, because I'm sorry. I still believe that I am the master of sarcasm.
Well, then you need to go sit and get a master class. Watch this movie. I kid you not. I am not teasing you. I am not doing a bit here. Watch this. If for nothing else, you can ignore Sally Field. You can ignore a very young Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
You can ignore Shirley MacLaine. You can ignore them all. Olympia Dukakis will have you rolling on the floor.
Now, it's a little hard for me to ignore Sally Field.
Trust me.
I had a 5-year-old crush on Sally Field back in the days of the Flying Nun. So
who needs wings to fly? That's the name of the theme song.
Exactly.
And who played the rich Puerto Rican millionaire?
I don't know who. Oh, you know what? I don't know.
You know the name. You know the name.
Oh, is it Alejandro Rey? No.
That's it. Alejandro Rey.
Wow.
Where
did I pull that out of my ass?
You wandered through the spiderweb filled hallways of your mind. Ooh. You stumbled on that one, baby. Remember, you never forget. You only fail to remember.
Yeah, that's it. Therein lies the issue. We got a bunch we're going to get covered here. Sometime during the course of the show, I wanted to refer to something that I heard yesterday listening to the lovely and talented Shaletta Brundage on my radio, talking about having the conversation with your children about race. And while I think that it was aimed a little bit more at African American children, I had a story I'm going to share, and we'll do this a little bit later on. We'll give it a tease
All
about my experience and why it would have been a lot more helpful if my parents would have had that conversation with me.
You mean your experience as a small black child?
Yeah, that's the one exactly. You just now noticing after all this time?
Oh, that's that line from the Steve Martin movie, The Jerk.
I was born a poor black child. Yes,
black child. But before we get into anything else, you know what time it is, John.
Oh my God! Here, let me plug my ears.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the Radio TFI Stock Market Report, brought to you by We're Still Waiting. Excuse me. Uber closed the week at $54.77, down $2.16. Lyft took a significant drop in the past week, closing Friday at $55.66 for a drop of $12.04, ladies and gentlemen. That has been your overextended Market Watch report here on Radio TFI. We desperately need a sponsor. Usually I time it pretty well with the end of the effect, but I don't know what happened with that today. I have nothing else.
Somebody else, if somebody finds us a sponsor for this bid, I promise you I'll cut it off. I promise you.
Somebody that'll pay us to
cut that. Yeah, exactly.
By the way, a little housekeeping here. A little housekeeping. If you're listening to us on the app, thank you very much. If you're not, go to your app store, search Radio TFI. We keep saying that you can watch live video on it, and we're supposed to be. And I am in constant contact with the folks that have designed and provided this app for us, and I haven't heard from them in a few days. So we're supposed to be getting that feature. That's included in what we pay for, and we're still trying to get them to get that up and running. So, but you can certainly listen to us. We got the music playing all day long. Unfortunately, our cover art doesn't show up either, but you can certainly hear us on the app. And if you've downloaded it, we certainly appreciate it. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell all the kids and kittens on your block.
Really, it's just like, it reminds me when I turn my Radio TFI app on and listen during the course of my day. It's kind of like the old days when you just had the transistor radio. You could just you're not really. I don't need to see the screen. I just listen to music.
I understand that, but it's a feature we pay for.
Oh well, so then get it together.
By the way, I have put a lot of work into the cover art that we use. Each song in the vast Radio TFI music vault, each image that goes with each song, I did it for each artist, but so like with the Beatles, I didn't do 30 individual covers, just one main logo. But for each artist, I sat and I created. Some of it was just old album covers, but I cleaned them up, and so that each one has. If you listen on the website, you'll see the cover art pop up. Mm-hmm. So, if no other reason, but anyway, we're working on that in the background. But the app works, and we're very happy to have that up and going. And anyway, you can see us on YouTube, on all the places that we show up live.
Exactly. So, and if you would like to get in on the conversation here, we welcome you to join us here at 754-800-CHAT, 754-800-2428. I'm assuming Ed's got the phone line plugged in.
What have you been told about assuming?
Well, therein lies the problem. You can also send us a text at that same number, or if you're on the streaming network here, you can also send us a comment via that direction if you so choose. We'd love to hear from you. It's important to us that we get input. I don't know. Maybe I'm overstepping when I say it's important. It's nice.
Well, that's also, don't forget, if you have a time machine, we'd like to hear from a 1980s payphone. Western Union is still a viable option.
Oh my goodness! I just remembering what it took to back then for for communicating and
Oh boy, and look at us now.
yeah, look at us now exactly.
Two boobs like us, two goons like us.
You know, that brings up a kind of I was listening also yesterday to our friend Don Allen, who was on a show last week, and he was having his show that he does similar to how we do it, called Our Black News. And at one point in time, somebody had mentioned the fact that you have to have corporate media to get your message out to the masses, and I don't necessarily think that this day and age you don't need the corporate media to get your message out there. They were talking about how people like Benjamin Crump, showing up now at every instance where there was a
don't get me started on him.
Oh well.
No,
they were.
I find him to be one of the most annoying ambulance chasing people I've ever encountered in my life. And I was encountering him a long time ago down in South Florida. And I'm not saying people don't need representation in some of these instances, but this man, to me, comes off like a buffoon, just like an ambulance chasing buffoon.
Well, what do you think about Al Sharpton?
Al Sharpton, he used to be an ambulance chasing buffoon. He's kind of eased back now. Well, he's aged into being a calming presence, and he's also a pastor, which buys him a little bit of and good morning, Shaletta, which buys him a little bit of. I remember when Al Sharpton was a big fat roly-poly guy. God bless him for losing all that weight.
Mm-hmm.
But look, he came to prominence back in the day with Jesse Jackson, and I'm not saying they weren't helpful, but those two, there's a camera lens around. Boom, these guys are there. Now, as far as Al Sharpton goes, I'm not saying that people aren't requesting him to be there now, but now he's in that place where people will say, "Oh, Reverend Sharpton, will you come and speak at the funeral? Will you come and speak to the family?" And that's kind of one thing. That's kind of one thing. Ben Crump, just a marble mouth goon as far as I'm concerned.
Woo. Anyways, well,
that's my opinion of him.
Yeah, everybody has their opinion, and I think the point that Don and his cast were talking about was the fact that when the dust all settles, and Sharpton and the crew all leave that particular area, there are still that particular area. I mean, we still have things here in Minneapolis we have to deal with. They still have things that they need to deal with in these other cities, and it's like they come in, they make their appearance rather, and then they're gone. And the person that I was chatting with here said, "Well, how do we get corporate media? How so we can get our message out? These days you don't need the corporate media. All you have to do is have some little setup here in our basements like we have.
Like us. I mean, yeah. Honestly, we have the same reach theoretically as NBC.
Yeah, very true.
Of course, most people don't. Most people on the planet aren't aware of us, but that's neither here nor there. Excuse me. That's just a question of making ourselves known and available.
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what. All it would take is one goofy thing to happen that we didn't anticipate that would just catch on fire.
Exactly. Then they tune in to see what the next
right.
Because everybody likes to see a train wreck.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? The old joke, I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out.
Mhm.
We all love to see that. People go to car races for the wrecks. Let's face it, that's why Demolition Derby came about. They
I love
really
Demolition Derby.
people love the wrecks.
But no, but anybody, seriously, though, if you have a compelling enough message,
Or
and-
not. Or us.
or us, well, sometimes we can be compelling. There's a couple of people that tune in on a regular basis just to hear what we have to say. So, and I appreciate the hell out of that. But everybody there, it's available. You have the platforms available to you.
That is correct.
Look at Facebook now. I mean, look at how much good people can do with their social media outlets where they're recording,
They're broadcasting live and yes, absolutely. I mean, you can get on and it's happened many, many times where people are in bad situations and they flip to their social media and now they're broadcasting to the world. And, that catches fire and suddenly you've got half the planet watching, Officer Krupke, do something he shouldn't be doing or whatever the case may be. The car chase down the 405, whatever it may be. And again, we have video here. We have, we have our audio thing. We have replays. You go to our app, and I'm not pushing the app right now, but it's set up that you can hear our entire archive is up there. The archive that we make available on SoundCloud is available on the app. Our entire video library that we have available is on there as well. So look, it's just a question of finding your audience, which ours seems to be very, very good at avoiding us. We're playing hide and seek.
But people, it's funny. People tune in. We get people that tune in on a regular basis. They'll check in, say hi, like Shaletta does, and she'll check. She's getting like she checks in every morning with us now.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, and she
that's a big time radio star.
Yes, indeed. Oh, it was kind of funny. I have to laugh at what happened to her. She must not have read the memo yesterday about programming, but her show on WCCO radio runs from, I believe it starts at 11 o'clock and she usually runs until 1 o'clock. Now this is Central Time. And she said she'd stay on until 1:30 because she had assumed that the Twins game, the pregame for the Twins game, was going to start at 1:30 and then the game would start at 2 o'clock. That's not quite how it went down. So but anyway, she'd planned on guests. She had everything all set up and like that. And all of a sudden she got the note from, actually she got it from the guy that was reading the news at the top of the hour, said, and Twins coverage starts at 12:30 today with the pregame. And she's thinking, wait a minute. I was planning on going until 1:30.
So she lost the half hour.
Well, she's basically, yeah. But the thing was, she set up these guests and she set up this,
right.
And now she has to backpedal and tell these people, "Whoa, wait a minute, I'm not going to be on." And I thought it was humorous. It's great because she's really into this. She's really into this whole being a part of media, and I wouldn't call she's so wonderful with social media because she reaches out to people. I've told you this before. People who have Twitter and Facebook accounts are kind of one-way trains. They'll put their stuff out on Twitter and never respond to anybody, not even as much as give it a like or give it a whatever. And probably half these things are probably muted when it comes from any outside source. But Shaletta always seems to take the time to engage on social media. And I wonder how and where she has this. I'm wondering if she doesn't have a somebody that she's hired on to actually respond to tweets in that. But she responded. I can count on one hand the number of times where if I've asked her a question or said something to her on Twitter where she hasn't reminded or responded, excuse me, with if nothing else, just a little gift, oh, I got you, okay.
I thought you were aware she has 2 secret clones that help her out with all this stuff.
I think that could very well be it, but
because I get exhausted just looking at her Twitter feed.
Oh my goodness.
I'm exhausted. Good for you, Shaletta. Good for you.
She knows how to use social media. She really does. You get a chance. I'll have to send you the link. It's the cutest thing. Now she's got 2 of her kids that are doing podcasts now too. And it was about it was so cute. It was age appropriate. 2 kids talking about finding the bear, going to a suburb here where I guess that they had spotted or found a bear or heard of a bear. And they were talking about going to find this bear and maybe even turning this bear into a friend. It was cute.
So the 2 kids are doing it together, not 2 separate podcasts.
Yeah, together. Yeah, the 2 kids are doing it together.
Okay, because we don't need any more competition, John.
I know. Well, I've already reached out to Shaletta to see if we could talk. She could talk her daughter there into doing some writing for our show too.
Wait a second. Wait a second. I spent an inordinate amount of time producing this show, and how old is this? How old is she?
Good Lord, I've never sat down.
Make up a number.
I'm going to guess that she's around 8 years old.
Oh, she's intellectually way past us. So,
well, what's really nice,
we could use a writer.
The kids are on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's just amazing. It's amazing how much she's because she. And then we talk about.
Here's the best I can do with a script, and this is from last week. I didn't even do one for this week.
Good Lord. Yeah, we can tell when you're not dialed in.
The cupboard is bare. The cupboard is bare this week. Let me tell you what.
Much on social media, and you just kind of. Although, I suppose we could, but I suppose we could get into some of the stuff we have here. We have a few video clips here, and some of them look like they're kind of entertaining. So,
yeah. Well, let's start. You have to excuse me. I got a little something going on.
Oh,
let's talk about, since I'm coughing and hacking a little bit here. Let's talk about what I did last Sunday night. We talked about it on the show. I went and did my sleep study. And John, you and I haven't talked about this, have we?
No, we didn't talk at all. We didn't talk at all during the.
No.
Other than I think I slipped you a text about the Dolphins waddling into the playoffs.
Yes, and we'll talk about that in hour 2 in that giant gaping hole. 21 weeks, I believe now. 21 weeks schedule comes out on the 12th in 10 days. 17 games this year. We get extra football this year. Actually, we get the same amount of weeks, but every team's playing an extra game. So I get extra football. So anyway, excuse me. So last Sunday, I had to go do a sleep study. And so I waddled my way over there. See what I did there? See what I did?
Yeah.
By the way, I don't pay much attention to college ball or the draft or that's another. So I got to the place and it was scheduled for 7:30, and gosh darn it, they didn't let you upstairs until 7:30. So we get up there. There were, I don't know, 6, 7 of us. Chit chatted with the people as we were all waiting. One by one, we were all brought into our rooms. Nice big hospital type room. Big seemed like a queen size bed or a big twin. It was very comfortable. My technician, Janet was her name, couldn't have been nicer. She pretty much fell for all my stale jokes, and so hey, when she could, each tech has 2 people that they tend to overnight. John, you've been through this, so when she finally came in, and there was no rush. I was it takes about 40 minutes to hook you up. And I never did get a look at myself. I meant to take a picture, and I never did. I didn't even see myself with all the stuff all over my head and in my my nose and microphones. And my biggest concern, and I said this to her, I said, just please make sure you get all the sticky stuff off me when we're done. We're done here. I came ready for bed, by the way. I showed up ready for bed. Other than my jacket, I was in a t-shirt, sweatpants, and my sneakers. All I had to do was just kick off my sneakers, and I was ready to rock and roll. I changed into shorts, but only because they needed access to my legs. And who wouldn't, really? If you've seen my legs, you know that's some good stuff there. So it takes about 40 minutes, give or take, and we're chatting all the time, and it's very pleasant. Again, putting up with my silliness. And by the time she was done, it was right about 10 o'clock or so. And she says, well, how long do you plan to, stay awake? I'm ready now. I'm good to go. And so I went to bed. She tucked me. She literally tucked me in because, well, for me to reach the covers, I would have had to drag 40 pounds of wiring with me, so. So, she puts I get comfortable. Have a good night, Now, she had told me that depending on what happened over the course of the night, they would have to put an oxygen thing over my nose, depending on how I was sleeping. And then if that still wasn't working, they would do the full face mask. So at one point she comes in and wakes me up and tells me they have to put the nose fixture on. Okay. A couple hours after that, I get woken up again, and now we got to put the full face mask on, which I was not happy about. I went back to sleep. Apparently, I sleep with my mouth wide open. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't, to my knowledge, I wasn't, waking up gasping for air or anything like that. And so at this point, I got up and I was very upset. No breakfast. And I had asked the night before, I said, what time is breakfast in bed? And they just, no swimming pool. What the hell kind of hotel is this? let me speak to the concierge. What? Oh, concierge? What? What kind of Motel 6 type dump? This is a Motel 5, for God's sake. Anyway, got up in the morning. They came in. She undid everything. And that was that. I made my way home. And here we sit a week later, still haven't heard anything from anybody about. I'm hoping I don't have to wear the CPAP machine at night. The main reason, and this is going to sound crazy, the main reason is because the electrical setup in my apartment is such that I don't know that if I can plug one more thing in, and that's in the room I'm in right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I certainly couldn't have it on while I've got the studio up and running. All that would have to be shut down. I have one outlet in this room. One. This is a very old building, and I don't have any grounded outlets either.
Well, as at least my machine doesn't have a grounded plug for one thing. And I think they take up about as much power as your average fan.
John, you don't understand how delicate the electrical situation is here.
Should I be worried about this one of these places? One of these days I'm going to read that this the Radio TFI executive studio is going to go up like a tinder, just light a match to the tinder box here, and we're
it's the remake of the Towering Inferno,
I guess.
By the way, which was based on not one but two books. One was called The Tower, and the other one was called Inferno. But they have both similar stories about fire in a very, very, very tall building. Just thrown out there. So anyway, so that's been that. Let's see. Let's get everybody caught up on me.
Well, just let me just tell you a couple things. And this isn't anything new from what I told you last week. But look, I know you're kicking and screaming as far as using a CPAP machine.
I'm screaming. I'm not kicking.
Well, close enough.
I'll do it. I don't want to.
I'll tell you something. Once you have had about a week to sleep with that, and you will be surprised how restful that sleep is going to be. Any your little daily naps that you take, and I'm sure when you're I'm waiting for somebody to kind of catch a napping on the job there when you're just sitting and waiting for something to happen.
Believe me, it's not a punitive thing on my job. It's not a punitive thing.
Gotta love the union.
Got it. One of the strongest unions you'll ever find.
Mm-hmm. But once you've had a chance to use this machine, you'll wonder how the hell you ever slept without it. To tell you the truth.
Well, I had a similar conversation with the gentleman that was there. We were chatting before we went our separate ways. We were chatting in the lobby, and he was telling me he's had stents put in and all that, and now they're talking about him having the bypass surgery. Mm-hmm. And he's back and forth about it. He's not sure he wants to do it. And I said, my friend, do it. You'll feel amazing. Once the recovery's over, it is all. Look, I understand it's for my own good. And of course I'm gonna gripe and moan about it because that is what I do, John.
Yeah, very good. Yes.
And I am very good at it.
Yes, you are.
Look, if they tell me to put it on, I will wear it. I'm not going to not do it. Doesn't mean I have to like it.
It sucks because it sucks in a way because I've gotten so used to having it. I've been using a CPAP on and off for over 30 years now. And I got to tell you that when I go someplace where I know I'm just going to maybe sleep or just spend the night, God damn, do I have to take the CPAP with me too? It's almost like having a little bit of a security blanket, to tell you the truth. Mm. And it's a wonderful thing. And I really hope that it'll help. It'll help you get a little bit more rest. It might help you with your.
I don't need any more rest.
Yeah, well, you might. It'll help you get rest when you're scheduled to get rest.
By the way, we're going to take a break, and I need a nap. No. So anyway, so let's finish up with me because I don't usually talk about me that much, and let's get caught up. For you radio folks, John is sitting there stunned.
Am I tuned in? Wait a minute. Did I come into the right studio here? Just hold on. Is this Ed?
No, it's Ted. It's
Ted. Therein lies the problem. Okay.
It's Don and Ted. You may have wandered into the wrong place. Anyway, I'm going back to work tomorrow. Well, tomorrow I go get my COVID test. And so I'll be starting work up again Tuesday. It looks like this will be, from what I'm being told, looks like I'll be on this job through the summer, through September. So that's good to know. I've been off now. I've only worked about 3.5 weeks all year because of the weather and blah, blah, blah. So we're getting back to work. Also, for those of you who have been long-time paying attentioners of this broadcast, I've talked about a court case that I have going on. Very, very quickly. Back in the day when I was driving for the dark side, somebody left a phone in my vehicle. As I was getting out of the van at my house, I heard a faint ringing in the back, made the disastrous mistake of finding the phone. I answered it. Hysterical girl, cursing, swearing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'll turn it into Uber and you can, a guy gets on the phone. They're all drunk, by the way. I'll give you $100 to bring it back. Okay, well, I can't pass up $100 cash, especially at that time of my life. Go down there. Long story short, the girls pay me. I give him the phone. He sneaks up from behind me. I was in a friend's vehicle and started wailing all over me. So I filed a report. It took a while to find him. Then COVID hit. So I did a partial deposition about 2 months ago. It's been dragging out. Finally, on my third state's attorney, I'm all for. The guy's got no record, and I've been told by every attorney I've spoken to with the state, it's unlikely he's going to get jail time. It's highly unlikely. Even if he did, it's a misdemeanor battery. He would get a year, if that. Okay. So finally, this new ASA says to me the other day, well, here's a couple of options. There was a plea. He presents a plea offer to me, and then this other option where this jerk has got 6 months to complete a program. He's got to take anger management courses. And one of the things that's kept me going through this whole thing is the fact that he's had to pay for an attorney the whole time. And I said this right from the beginning. I don't care how long this drags out because it ain't costing me a penny. Mm-hmm. It's not costing me a dime. So it took a little prodding, but I finally gave into it. I agreed to it. And I'm not going to lie. What I told the attorney was, look, my ego is in the way right now because when this guy whooped up on me, I was belted into the passenger seat of a friend's vehicle. Okay, I didn't have a chance to go back at him. Believe me, I would love 5 minutes in a room with this clown with a bat and a gun and a knife and 2 other guys holding him down. But just 5 minutes. So the fact that, he's been paying for an attorney all along, and it's going to cost him more money down the line. If he completes the program, and the name of it is escaping me at the moment, then the case will be dismissed. It will not show up on his record, I believe. The fact that he's been arrested for it will show up. Mm-hmm. So I relented. There was a plea offer where the attorney said to me, well, we can go in, we can offer him 12 months probation and yada yada. He says, but likely his attorney won't take that. He'll say set it for trial, which again is good for me. If it costs the guy an extra couple of grand, I'm good with that. That's why I'm in revenge mode right now. I know this guy's not going to jail. So anyway, I agreed to that. So presuming that they accept the offer, he'll have 6 months to complete everything he's got to complete, which includes an apology letter to me. Oh, and I can't wait, kids and kittens, for that one. I can't wait.
An apology letter and say a check for about, let's say $1,000. Just
can't ask for that.
Why not?
I wouldn't.
I'm sorry. At this point in time, you've cost, for you were nice enough. You were nice enough to bring the damn phone back. The fact that he offered, he
Right.
offered you $100 to bring the phone back. He did
by
get
the way,
$100 for the deal, did you not?
actually, it was 115. They gave me a wad of cash.
Oh, okay.
By the way, all of that conversation was recorded on my dash cam. Kids and kittens, get a dash cam.
Oh, absolutely.
Every conversation from when they called me on the phone, because I put it all on speaker, was picked up by the dash cam. There's no video to speak of because it was dark and the video didn't matter. But I have every second of it on. I have it recorded. I sent that to the state. That's why they charged him. Mm-hmm. That is why. Unfortunately, I didn't have video of the actual attack. I thought I did because I was in a friend's cab, and but unfortunately, the camera didn't go off. So I don't have that. But I also have him on recorded, confessing to it, admitting to it, because I called him the next day and I recorded everything, just like we record. Oh, damn, we're supposed to record you, aren't we? Just teasing, we're recording. But I recorded him, and I told him, look, you're being recorded right now. Do you consent to that? And it took a little while, and we had a discussion about, oh, Ed, well, what can we do to make this go away? I said, well, what would you like to do?
How many bedrooms do you have?
Well, I purposely did not say anything like that because I didn't want this to blow back up in my face.
No, you're right. I'm just talking from my angry white man perspective.
No. Make no mistake about it. They're a stack of neatly placed Benjamin Franklins. We've gone a long way.
Oh, yeah.
A long way. Because at this point, this was the day after, and I hadn't gone to the police yet. Mm-hmm. Although I told him in no uncertain terms, I said, I'm going to the police. You can rest assured. I said, we will find you. I have your name. I have everything, that I need. And, I'd appreciate it if you didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. He says, how about we meet? Long story short, and I had I transcribed the whole call, and he blew me off on the meet. I said, fine, send him a text message. On my way to Lauderdale PD to file a report. See ya.
Yeah, there you go.
Never heard from him again.
See, when somebody is that obnoxious, and I don't use alcohol, you said they were pretty drunked up, but I don't use alcohol for a minute as a reason or as an excuse for that, because quite frankly, Ed, I got to tell you, I've done my share of drinking in my life.
Sure, so have I.
I have always been a happy drunk. I have never once started a fight because I've been drinking.
Let me tell you something. So this attorney, the state's attorney that I'm talking to, as we're in the midst of this conversation, he says, well, you got to remember, and the guy was drunk too. I said, no, you stop right there. Drunk is not a reason. It's not an excuse. Believe you me, I carted enough drunks around over the years, okay? Mm-hmm. And I've carted enough people who get big brass balls, Say
that fast 3 times.
Instant courage just to add alcohol. Believe you me, it's not the first time I've been whacked in the head by somebody because they were drunk and they were, big and bad. And, look, some good things have happened while people were drunk and some not so good, it goes both ways, so to speak, like other people I know, but we won't go there. But no, I refuse to accept that look, whenever I did stupid stuff, and I had been known to do, some minor silly stuff, seriously, nothing major. I'm a happy drunk as well. And, well, look, I've said some stupid things and, okay, look, but I never fell back on the, okay, I had been drinking was an explanation of my state of mind, but it's not an excuse. That may be the reason I said it, but it doesn't excuse it. And I don't buy I was drunk as that's not going to absolve you of whatever it is you did. So I have not spoken to this gentleman since that night, since the night after. And keep in mind, one of the two female friends. There's another gentleman on the original ride. He's not part of this at all. He was long since gone. But one of them called the dark side and had my account deactivated. The old, oh, he was drunk, he did this, he did that. What Uber customers do. They just flat out lie. To get a free ride. And that has ticked me off to no end. I eventually got back on the platform, but it still the gall. You offered me a reward to bring this phone that you dropped to return it to you, and I was done for the night. I was literally in my driveway. Just about another 30 seconds goes by, and I'm in the apartment, and I don't even know the phone's there. Until the next day. Once I realized who it belonged to, I'm not going to lie, because they were assholes when I picked them up. I thought about just taking the phone and tossing it in the Intracoastal Waterway. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah,
that was my original thought.
Yeah.
I denied it. When they first called, I said, "Oh no, I found it on the street."
Yeah, I gotta tell you, it's one of the reasons why when I did take my little tour into the dark side, I basically blended it in to what I was doing with the company. I was also I do a little bit on the weekends during the day. I wanted nothing to do with that night crowd because.
Right. All right. First off, this wasn't the night crowd. I picked them up in the afternoon. They were day drinking. Oh yeah, John.
I thought you were working night. My bad.
No, it all happened. It all started up by about 9 o'clock. I was done with it because I was having such a crap day. No, it was like more like 4 o'clock that I picked them up.
Okay,
and it was still daylight out. Look, they were out day drinking. It happens. Fort Lauderdale. It was that time of, it's a Saturday. It happens. I've done it myself. I had, So, look, I've dealt with drunks before. My God, I did 30 plus years of nights. I know what it's like. And again, the dash cam. The dash cam is what put this all together. Kids and kittens, even for your personal vehicle, get a dash cam. You can buy them really cheap, and once you put it up there, you don't ever have to deal with it again until you need it. And trust me, you will be so glad you spent $50.
Yeah, it is money well invested.
Money well spent. It has helped me a couple of times already. Having my own dash cam. And most of them now, the one I have, there's an app. I can watch the video on my tablet or on my phone. I don't have to pull down the device. It has Bluetooth.
Nice.
So you can do everything from your tablet, from your phone. We just lost John there. He'll be back. But without question, you get yourself a dash cam because I've had a couple of the. He said this. Oh, really? Here you go. Let me show you how wrong you are. And there he is, the lovely and talented and butterfingered John Shannon.
Emphasis on butterfingered.
So anyway, yes, get a dash cam. Make sure you get one that looks out and in. Whether or not you're in transportation or not, it doesn't matter because things can happen in the car. You may be at a traffic stop with a police officer and the camera that's facing in is going to pick up the entire conversation. You can turn the camera so that it's looking out your driver's side window. And maybe nothing goes wrong. That's fine. That's great. But at least get the audio and you have your version of it. They're supposed to be wearing a body cam. There's no reason you shouldn't look. This is the day and age. Everybody's on.
Everybody's on camera.
That's right. To walk outside with the expectation to get upset because somebody. I find it hilarious how everyday people on the street are like, no, you can't take my picture. No. And they're blocking their face and they're, what are you in the witness protection program? You're on a public street, for goodness sake. There's 1,000 cameras around you. But they all act like the FBI is watching in right now. And they're going to come pick them up for something. No, I can't have my picture. Why not? If I took the picture from 50 feet away and you're in the background, you'd never know I took it. Lord knows how many pictures I'm in the background. There's no telling that you're unaware of that we're taking.
Exactly. 754-800-CHAT, 754-800-2428 is the number if you want to jump in on this conversation. If you're listening to this on Memorex, you can leave a call and leave a message or send a text to. The opportunities are endless as far as leaving us a note, telling us what you think. We'll even address your thoughts if you so desire. Tell you what, let's clean up this last 7 or 8 minutes or so with a few little odds and ends here that I've collected during the week. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Can I do Jim Acosta?
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead and lead us off with that.
So earlier this week, somebody at Fox News picked up a piece of information and attributed it to President Biden. Essentially, Fox went berserk with the news that Biden's going to cut meat production and you'll only be allowed one hamburger a month and 90%. They just flat out made up a story out of a little piece of information that had nothing to do with Biden's plan. Nothing. Fox eventually actually admitted on air that that they were full of beans. In reporting this story, this is Jim Acosta of CNN, who was one of the previous administration's all-time favorites. Here's Jim Acosta from the other day referring to the Fox story.
But the damage was done, pumped out over the airwaves at the bullshit factory, also known as Fox News.
Gotta love it.
That was actually on the air at CNN. Mm-hmm. And if you're not seeing the video, which as always is on the website, radiotfi.com, Acosta is dead serious. He's not doing a bit. He's not shooting for ratings. This is the BS factory. And look, this is a better late than never, but it's good to see the other media outlets start calling Fox out for all this nonsense. Mm-hmm. You know, they're literally making stuff up out of whole cloth. You talk about fake news. Fox, or faux news, FAUX, as some people like to call it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's one of my favorite clips of the week.
So, speaking about the federal government banning things, there's a story that came out. I saw it on the Hill that they're unveiling a plan to ban menthol cigarettes and also flavored cigars. So, so I was about ready to jump. I was about ready to jump on the old train here and start raging about this. That okay, if you're going to ban tobacco products, just ban it all. I mean, let's stop beating around the bush. Some people enjoy a menthol cigarette. You know, look, I've never smoked a day in my life, Ed, but I got to tell you that some of the things that smokers go through, this whole idea that, you know, okay, now I understand you can't smoke in a room, in a closed room. I get that. You can't smoke in a closed arena, but for the same damn reason that the COVID is a whole lot less dangerous when you're outside damn it, if you want to have a cigarette outside, that's you. And I feel that the smokers have been bastardized for quite a while. You know, I remember back when I was living in Wichita Falls, Texas, with Bill. As a matter of fact, it was we were all bowling on a league there, and they had the answer for smokers there. They had what I affectionately called the gas chamber. They had a small room about 5 by 7.
Oh, I've been in those.
Everybody that wants a cigarette, that's where they smoked. Yeah, I've
been in one of those.
Oh,
I experienced that in the Atlanta airport. Let me tell you. Ooh, boy. Look, as a
light up, all you need to do is just
inhale.
Inhale, exactly.
Now, as a 40-year smoker, who is, as I like to say, I have the scar to prove it. Look, menthols are a tough thing. I smoked menthols for years, and the first time you inhale a cool, oh my God, it is literally somebody hitting you in the chest with a sledgehammer. I was a teenager the first time I tried a cool.
And that was cool.
Yeah, I personally, I'm at the point now where I was like this. I was of this mind before I quit. Ban it all. Look, John, nicotine is probably the most addictive drug on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You have no idea how difficult it is. Look, there's a lot of people that are able to put it down quick, cold turkey, and that's the end of it. And I applaud them. I had to use the prescription drugs to do it. I tried everything. It's not easy for everybody to, and there's no benefit to smoking at all. None. There's no. Look, I agree with you. I don't. Well, you smoke outside. You smoke away from other people. We now know the horrible effects of secondhand smoke.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the first time I heard that you couldn't. Oakland, California, the old Oakland Coliseum, where the A's played, was the first stadium I was aware of that banned smoking in the stands. I remember thinking, that's ridiculous. You're outdoors. But as time has gone on, I realized if I'm sitting next to somebody that's smoking,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still getting the effect. You're in a packed stadium. You're still getting it. Not to mention the millions of cigarette butts that are left, because smokers, we believe the entire world is an ashtray.
Oh yeah, that I totally.
We flick it anywhere, and it's okay. It's on the ground. It's fine. I once had somebody at a party in one of my old apartments put a cigarette out on my apartment floor. I was like, dude. And
I can't tell you how many times back when I used to allow smoking in the cab. How many times people would forget the fact I had empty ashtrays. Now we're just gonna put the damn cigarette on the floor of the cab.
Yeah. That's but again, look, I quit years ago. Would I be unhappy if they banned cigarettes altogether? No, but I know some people would have a hard time with it. But as far as the menthol goes, menthol's tough on you, man. It does a worse number on you than regular cigarettes. Look, the fact that they were able to get this passed at all is a minor miracle, because the tobacco industry is still up there duking it out.
Yeah, they're almost at NRA status. So we
sometimes even better.
Yeah,
sometimes even better.
Like I said, I was getting ready to unload on them, but I did a little reading. A matter of fact, just before we went on the air, I did a little reading about that, and it is. Yeah, you're right. It's a little tough on the lungs there and other body parts. All right, well, we'll be back here in just a few shakes. So you are listening to the Taxi Stand Hour on Radio TFI.
Radio TFI. You found the Taxi Stand Hour.
The worst talk radio I've ever heard in my life.
On Radio TFI.
Talk too much. Talk too much.
Join the conversation. You can reach the guys at 754-800-CHAT, 754-800-2428, on Twitter at Taxi Stand Hour. From a payphone, call collect.
So most people have a fear of acquiring the virus. I think a good way of doing it is to imagine that you do have the virus, yeah, and change your behavior so that you're not transmitting it. Don't think about changing your behavior so you won't get it. Think about changing your behavior so you don't give it to somebody else.
Hey! He's free as a breeze, he's always at ease. He lives in the jungle, hangs by his knees, and swings through the trees without a trapeze in his BVD. He got a union card and he's practicing hard to play the guitar. Gonna be a big star, yeah, it's gonna go far. Carry moonbeams home in a jar. He ordered Chet's guitar course COD, makes A, E, working on B, digs C and W and R and B, and me and the chimpanzee agree that one day soon he'll be a celebrity. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Guitar Zane, he's a guitar man. He's all you can stand. Give him a hand, Guitar Zane. Oh, 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 He's got a girl named Jane with no last name, kind of homely and plain. Loves her just the same, cause she kindles a flame and it drives him insane when he hears her sing. She really does her thing, it's her claim to fame. Come on, sing one, Jane.
All right. Baby! Baby! Wow, baby! Scooby-Dooby, baby! Scooby-Doo-Doo, baby! Wow, baby!
Let's hear it for Jane.
Thank you, folks, thank you.
Well, he got a pet monkey, he likes to get drunky and sing boogie woogie, and it sounds real funky. Come on, your time, boy. Here we go. Sing one, monkey. Let's hear it for the monkey. On Saturday night they need some excitement. Jane gets right, monkey gets tight. Voices unite in the pale moonlight. Sounds alright, yeah, it's dynamite. It's out of sight. Let's hear it right now.
Baby!
Oh,
Baby! Oh, baby! Baby! Shut up, brother, I'm trying to sing!
Get it. Guitar Zane and his jungle band. They're all you can stand. Give them a hand, Guitar Zane. Yeah, Guitar Zane and his jungle band. They're all you can stand. A little applause, Guitar Zane. Guitar Zane and his jungle band. They're all you can stand. Give them a hand, Guitar Zane. Hey, Guitar Zane and his jungle band. They're all you can stand. I gotta give it up. Guitar Zane. Guitar Zane. All right, that's good. And cut.
Hey, and we're back. Well, I'll expect cards and letters there from Facebook after that one. I'm sure we violated copyrights in Iran and a few other places again.
Iran, North Korea. We hit all the hot spots when we violate the copyrights.
Yes, we do. Hi, welcome back here. You're listening to the Taxi Stand Hour on Radio TFI and on the Radio TFI streaming network. Once again, from the Northern Command Studio in Eagan, Minnesota. I just watched two huge crows just fly by the way. They were doing the buzz the tower routine there for sure. Okay. That is how interested you were in that. Anyways, from the Northern Command Studio in Eagan, Minnesota, I'm John Shannon. From the Radio TFI Executive Tower, where we definitely look like we're going to have to check the wiring in the joint now. It is the one, the only Ed Van Ness. Once again, good morning, sir.
And good morning again, all you wild and crazy kids and kittens. As we've said before, we trust you've had a wonderful week. Thanks for sticking with us through this. That was the incomparable Ray Stevens that took us through the break with Guitarzan, one of my favorite tunes. Just as a song itself, I like the beat. It's peppy, and he gets all these cool rhymes in there, and it's just a fun tune.
You can't. When it comes to a Ray Stevens song, though, you can't beat the streak.
Yeah, but everything is beautiful in its own way.
Yeah, all that too. A definite change of pace for him as far as music goes. Though.
Jesus loves the little children, all little children of the world. They are yellow, black, and white. They are precious in His sight.
And that was the Catholic Church's motto when that the stuff that was going on back in the day.
No. The Catholic Church's motto is altering boys since the 5th century.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Moving on.
754-800 chat, 754-800-2428. Call, send a message. If you're on the streaming network, you can send a message that way as well.
Carry opinions, whatever you got.
Exactly.
Rudy.
America's mayor.
Rudy. And I don't mean Rudy Valley. I don't mean Rudy Huxtable. I don't mean Rudy from the Notre Dame movie. I don't mean Rudy Geller.
You don't mean Rudy from the Fat Albert cartoon?
I don't remember Rudy, but no, I don't mean them either, him either, her either, whoever they were. Moving on. Rudy got raided. Now, is he smart enough to realize, unless he has a pocket pardon, which people aren't buying into that. At some point Trump's going to come out and say, Rudy, who? Oh yeah, he got coffee for me once. Trump's going to throw him under the bus as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now does Rudy have? And even Rudy's got to see that's going to happen. He's watched everybody else get thrown under the bus, go to jail and whatnot, and this is going to be good. This is going to play out deliciously. I was watching an interview with Michael Cohen, the last personal attorney for Donald Trump that trusted Trump would do the right thing. Boy, Michael Cohen, he doesn't hold back on Trump.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, no. He,
Well, apparently, Cohen came on CNN and basically predicted that Rudy Giuliani will flip on Trump.
Oh yeah, that's what he was saying.
We don't have video. We have video of that, do we, by chance?
No, but we do have Andrew Giuliani, his boy genius son, speaking to the old money bunny Aaron Burnett on CNN. Let's take a listen to this, kids and kittens.
The Attorney General, we have seen the Justice Department continually get politicized. And what I've seen now is you have an Obama-appointed judge who has signed this warrant where no other judge would sign this warrant. I think you're going to see tonight exactly how absurd this was.
You have proof that no other judge would sign the warrant?
I don't have any proof, but do you have proof that any other judge would sign the warrant?
Well, I do have a faith in our system, and I trust the Trump judges Trump judges who turned down effort after effort by your father and the president to overturn election results in states across this country. Many of those were Trump-appointed judges.
I read over 200 affidavits. That's all I will say about it.
Zing! She nailed him. She nailed him. You know, this is the thing with these people. Oh, well, it was an Obama-appointed judge. So what? Look, and she nailed him. You know, I had faith in the Trump-appointed judges, and look, they wouldn't, you know.
Yeah.
If you want to see something on this kid, Andrew Giuliani, search on YouTube for the day Rudy Giuliani was inaugurated as mayor of New York, his first inauguration. He was about 8 years old at the time. This kid was in love with the camera. Oh, it's hilarious to watch. It was hilarious at the time. It's hilarious now. But yeah, Rudy, we have video of it. It's a quick one. He's talking about his things being in the iCloud. And the key to this piece of video is, I mean, you hear the audio, but at one point, Rudy points up as if the iCloud is an actual cloud. I'll play it. I'll play it for the video audience, the audio audience. That's what's happening here. It's a quick 8 seconds.
I've had it for 2 years and I haven't destroyed it. And they also got it from the iCloud. So there was no.
Yeah, there's Rudy pointing up to the iCloud as if.
And what you can't hear also is that you even look like you have Tucker Carlson kind of baffled when he said that.
That's Tucker Carlson's usual face. He looks like he just pooped his pants.
Yes, good old Tucker Carlson. Now, well, there we can do an hour-long story or show just on him alone,
and we will not.
Yeah. Well, you know, here's the thing: is with Limbaugh gone now, you know, him and Hannity and a few other crackpots are all aiming for that spot to be the.
No, they're not.
Oh yeah, they are. They all want to have that golden spot where Limbaugh was.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying. Yeah, they want to be that number one voice in right-wing America's head.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you know, piling it full of flat out lies and nonsense, and it's just unfortunate. And again, for those of you, well, if you're listening to us, I'm pretty confident you're not watching Fox Primetime. But keep in mind, their primetime lineup is just opinion people. And they say that. Yeah, we don't claim that anything that they say is true or accurate or newsworthy or whatever. And Tucker Carlson apparently has no qualms with just making stuff up out of whole cloth. We talked about it earlier with the one hamburger a month nonsense that they were peddling last week. The problem they have is that they can't find anything to run with on Joe Biden. Unlike Trump, who gave us something 3, 4, 5 times a day.
Right.
You know, look, Biden's just humming along, singing a song. You don't hear from him. That's right, because he's doing his job.
Exactly.
The president does not need to be out there every second of every day. Biden's trying to save lives here. If you haven't gotten your vaccine yet, please go out and get it. Even if they are putting nanochips in there, so what? Nobody's that interested in you.
Well, the thing that's so funny now, I saw on here where Trump's planning to have another MAGA rally.
Oh, please.
And what I find humorous about that is you have to believe that about 80%, if not more, of attendees to this rally aren't going to be vaccinated, probably won't be wearing masks. They're going to probably go to someplace in Florida like Raymond James Stadium or something like that and have this huge outdoor rally. And hey, let them all go. I call it thinning the herd as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
make sure you're not vaccinated. Make sure you're not wearing a mask.
Well, here's something from last week that I never got to, but it's still relevant to what we're talking about. This was a tweet from Kyle Griffin, Kyle Griffin 1. The city of Albuquerque has referred the Trump campaign to a collection agency.
Right.
The city is seeking approximately $200,000 following Trump's rally in Rio Rancho in 2019. And it's not the only city that's still trying to collect from the Trump campaign.
Minneapolis is still trying to collect from them.
Yep. So they're going to be hard pressed. And remember, there's still inauguration money that is completely unaccounted for. They raised about $107 million, and Obama's inauguration didn't cost half that. And he had a whole lot more people. So,
Absolutely.
Look, the jail terms are going to be coming down. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, just something else that I had for last week, and I just want to get it out there. This is from Travis Akers, at Travis Akers. I was shocked to learn that not a single bill introduced by Representative Jim Jordan has been passed in Congress. This is his 14th year in the House of Representatives.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. 14 years, hasn't had one bill passed.
So, in other words, all he really has gone to Congress for is just to be a mouthpiece. In other words, he just there just for the sake of being there, type thing.
Right, and not wearing a jacket.
Yeah.
Apparently, he only has one, and he doesn't like to wear it out. I don't have any information, but let's see Matt Gaetz squirm out of this one.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. He was called. What was that? He had somebody else that was in his corner of friends or circle of friends has basically ratted him out.
Yeah.
And this will be interesting.
Yeah.
Although they are using the disclaimer, the fact that they thought they were over the overage, over the legal age or whatever.
Doesn't matter.
But
officer, she looked 18.
Well, guess what? Maybe you shouldn't be engaging in that type of behavior to begin with.
When in doubt. Look, Matt Gaetz is under the impression that he's like his hero, Trump. He's untouchable.
Oh, yeah.
And this is what Trump has brought us is members of the Republican Party that they can pretty much do anything without any repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, it was the Republicans that let him get away with everything. So this is where we are right now. People just believe they can do what they want when they want. And Matt Gaetz is one of them, and he's one of the biggest purveyors of it.
I have to laugh though when it comes to guys like Matt Gaetz and a few others that have gone after Elizabeth Cheney.
Yeah.
I have to laugh. Did you realize who you're messing with there? You do realize who it is you're messing with. A certain former vice president comes to mind there, and you start messing with family there.
The other thing that really burns me about the whole Liz Cheney situation is this: is that now the Republican Party is, well, if you don't think like us, we're gonna punish you. I mean, where is the right to free speech? She's an elected official in this country. Now her constituents may vote her out. They may not like what she's saying. And as a senator, you may not like what she's saying, or Congress, or whatever the hell she's in. But to censure her, to all of you to run into the room and go, "Oh, she was mean to us." You know, she's entitled to her opinion, just like you're entitled to yours. You're entitled to believe whatever silliness is being propagated these days. Let's. I want to play a quick Chip Franklin. We haven't heard from him today. Let's see what he's got to say for us.
Masks are for the guilty. They're signifiers of shame and submission.
Fox News has an interesting business plan. It's called Tune In and Die.
0 people in the United States of America have died from the coronavirus.
Look, there's still a pandemic. If you're not vaccinated, you can still die. Ask the 5,000 people who died last week.
All President Trump's fault.
Ask India, whose crematoriums can't keep up with the demand.
Only Klansmen and armed robbers wore masks.
We wear masks in public around people we don't know because we don't know. Variants can still make you sick.
So next time you see someone in a mask, do not hesitate. Ask firmly, would you please take off your mask?
This doughy-faced bum squat wants to attack people for wearing masks.
There's no reason for you to be wearing it.
Not that he would do the attacking. Not because he gives a damn either. Tucker, Sean, Laura Ingraham are all fully vaccinated, but they pretend to be rebels against the man.
Let's not forget,
they're really multimillionaire racists.
Think about this.
Leading a pack of grunt knuckles into sickness and harm, all for ratings. Hey, Fox News, you want to hear my business plan?
Go f*** yourself.
Something like that.
Goddamn right.
What happens next?
Winning.
Chip Franklin.
You know who we haven't heard from in a couple of weeks is Oberman. He hasn't done any of his lately. I've been looking. I've actually got notifications set up for when he posts something on Twitter, and I haven't heard from him.
Fear not, he'll be back at some point.
I sure hope so.
To be quite honest, I expected a lot of this. Now that Trump is gone, I mean, again, there was stuff. Vitriol could be spewed on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was so much. There was so much you couldn't keep up at times. Now, not so much. Again, we're back to a very boring president, which is what we need. I need a guy who's in there. I watched his speech the other night, and he tripped over his own tongue a couple of times. But you know what? I'm okay with that. He's 70. Was it 78? Yeah. 78 years old. He's a lifelong stutterer.
I know he's overcome something that can be quite embarrassing, and if people don't understand what's going on, to have to speak in public, he's really.
But what he doesn't have is malice. Okay, there's no intent to defraud there. He's trying to get things done. And by the way, speaking of a Biden, if Hunter Biden's laptop was all so important to bringing down the whole Biden crime family, as they like to say, why does Rudy Giuliani have it? He claimed he had it in his apartment. Why would you have it? Why is it all this time? And I'm not the first person to pose this question. All this proof we have of everything. This silliness in Arizona. What's the bald head ninja or whatever they were calling themselves? Are grabbing 2 million ballots to recount. Everything's been counted. Everything's done. Everything's done. But there's never any proof. There's never any. Oh, and they wouldn't let any media in either. But we keep hearing about proof of this, proof of that. I watched Mike Lindell on Jimmy Kimmel this past week.
Did you watch that? I want to get a video from that.
You want to watch the whole show? Watch.
I will have to go in and check that out. I wanted to, just didn't have a chance.
Listen to what I'm telling you here. You watch the monologue. You can skip the other guests, and then watch the Lindell segment. It is funny. It's to the point. Like Jimmy Kimmel, first and foremost, is a comedian, but he doesn't pull punches when it comes to it. He went straight at him. And honestly, he realizes who he's talking to. But there's a surprise at the end of that segment. But it helps to watch the beginning of the show.
Right.
And trust me, it's well worth it. It is well worth it. But look, Lindell is another one. He's been pushing all these theories. Well, we've got the proof. Where is the proof? Just show it. Stop going on and on and on and on about you have it, and just show it.
Yeah,
we're taking it to the Supreme Court. No, you're not. You just don't walk into the Supreme Court. That's not how this is done.
Well, he's really just proving himself to be a complete and utter idiot. Unfortunately, yeah, if here's a multimillionaire, bazillionaire, whatever his financial, where he stands financially, and it's a shame because he was a success story, you know, a crack addict who managed to do well for himself, and good for him. It's just a shame that he had to all of a sudden fall off the deep end here.
Right. It's one thing to have your opinions, which, you know, even if I don't disagree with them, you're more than welcome to have them. Yeah. But to go on and on, enough with the I have proof. Show the proof, okay? Yeah. This is not going to be turned over. We're not in July going to say, oops, there was a mistake. Donald Trump, you were really president. It's not going to happen. Everything's been counted, recounted, retabulated, and accounted. You know, it's done. We are where we are. Okay? No one is saying that there's never going to be an isolated case here or there. And by the way, so far, all the voter fraud they found, the little bit of it was all for Trump.
Yeah,
it was people voting for their dead parents using, you know, it's all been Trump people. I haven't heard of one yet where, Biden benefited by. And besides that, you'd have to turn over millions and millions and millions of votes.
Exactly.
To to make something of that. And again, it's just not there. But you notice they're not rampaging in the states that they won and saying, well, we need to no, if you're going to recount, you recount everything.
Every single ballot. Every single ballot. And up and down the ballot while you're at it.
That's right. Because it's still, I hold the opinion. You're telling me that the ballot needs to be redone because they didn't vote for Trump. But even though they went Republican down the line, but that part of the ballot's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I say we throw the entire ballot out and see what happens as far as the House and the Senate goes.
Yep. Exactly. Well, hey, listen, I do want to get into this discussion that because I think it's important, and again, I'm going by. We're kind of doing an emergency bat turn here, but
you said it.
Thank you very much. Do appreciate that. So once again, I was listening to Shaletta, and she had a guest on. Apparently, she wrote a piece in the Star Tribune about why it is important to have the conversation about race with your children, and it's very important. Apparently,
1 second, John. In all seriousness, if anybody's stumbling across this, the audio portion of this down the line in the future, just to be clear, neither John nor I are African American. We have no experience being African American. We do not have children that are African American.
Well, I'm going to drop a bomb on you right here and now.
You were born a poor black child.
I know, and I mean this in all seriousness. Now, of course, you only know me. You've only known me for 4 years, a little over 4 years.
That's right.
So the only person in my life that you know about is Granny Annie.
That is correct.
I have been married before.
Okay.
Married and divorced, and actually have 2 children from this particular marriage.
All right.
These are children I'm not much in contact with. For one thing, the man that she married afterwards wanted to adopt the kids. I unfortunately was at a point in time in my life where I said, well, he'd probably be a better provider than I would be. So I went ahead and let him do it. I gave up my parental rights. So thus I haven't had a whole lot of contact with those kids. Well, my older daughter from this marriage, she's actually over 30, has 2 kids of her own, and both of them are mixed race children. So in essence, yes, I do have 2 mixed race grandchildren.
All right, fair enough.
So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there when you said that we don't have black children or anything to that.
All right. Well, look, I was basing that on information I had a minute and a half ago.
Understandable, totally understandable.
I'm part Schnauzer myself, but that's another story for another time.
I thought you were that dog that always liked the first thing they do is when they go to greet you, the first thing they do is stick their snoot right in the ball sack.
That's only on holidays.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. I'm only part Schnauzer.
So I wanted to take that story one step further, if I could, from again what Shaletta and her guests were talking about, because they were talking primarily about African American children and teaching African American children about race. I think that it is just as important, maybe if not more so important, that if you have little white children, to teach them about race. And I'm going to talk, and now this is something, I don't know how much your parents talked to you about race when you were a kid, if at all.
Well, again, bearing in mind that I was a kid in the 60s and 70s, and when I was a small child, we used all those words. Then nobody thought twice of it. So there was no race talk. I mean, we had some people of other nationalities in our neighborhood, but for the most part, everybody I knew was either Irish, Italian, a mix of that, or Puerto Rican, and some kind of mix of that. Because New York City has more Puerto Ricans in it than Puerto Rico itself. That's an actual fact, or at least it used to be. While in my school, I think we had in my grade, what do we have? We have one black kid for sure, and I've talked about him, Randy. Who was the wrestler? Brazil, Randy Brazil.
Okay,
Brazil's boy. We had a fair amount of Puerto Rican and Hispanic guys. We even had one from where was it? Arif was from Pakistan, I believe. I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and his parents sent him to the school, and we're sitting around yakking, and he says, somebody asked him, "Hey, Arif, how come you're not in church on Sunday?" He says, "We're not Catholic." He says, "I don't even know why I'm going to this school." But they were Muslim, I believe, and so we had a little bit of a mix. We had a little bit of a mix, but not a true. Look, most of the guys I went to school with were me.
Well, let me pass on some memories here for you, and it's funny the things that you remember in childhood. There are times I can't remember what I had for breakfast, but I can still remember things from my childhood. And one of my first that I remember encounters with black people was in an apartment building we lived in, and I hadn't even reached kindergarten age yet. And my parents they got their nose involved in a domestic, which is something you should never do. I don't think. And so it was a black couple. The woman came to our apartment. We asked her to hide us out from this guy. He apparently knew that she was in our apartment, and he came in, demanded that we turn her out and get her back out. You know, he wants to see this woman. Now I don't think they did, but one of the things I do remember was having a gun pointed at me.
Ooh, hello.
Yeah. So this is one of my first encounters with a black person, to my recollection, in childhood.
Yeah, that's one that would stick with you. Pretty confident.
Thus, also, now I'm a little younger than you, but not that much younger. I also remember very vividly seeing images of the Black Panthers on TV.
Yeah. And that time in the late 60s, 67, 68, 69, again, I'm 8, 9, 10 years old. Yes, on the nightly news, there were those images. There was the Vietnam War going on. But yes, you saw all those images of blacks being just hosed down. I still have vivid images.
I want to go specifically to the images of the Black Panthers, and the ones that looked really scary to a 7-8-year-old kid. These were images that kind of were ingrained in me, and I remember I remember as a child actually being afraid of black people, even as I got a little older, after my parents had already died, and I was living with Annie's grandma. Right. You know, my parents really never had that conversation with me. Annie's grandma never had this conversation with me about encountering black people. I got sent to a summer camp that had a huge amount of black people. I think I was probably maybe fourth grade, or no, it wouldn't have been fourth. It'd been like fifth grade or something to that level. And part of the kids were where I was being dropped off to bus to this camp was at a community center where it was in a predominantly black neighborhood. I was scared shitless, man. I'm gonna tell you, I was really, really afraid. And over the years, I gotta tell you, man, I really had a fear of black people, and I think that a lot of people my age might have had the same things going on. This is why people have a tendency, at least I know I did. You always fear the unknown.
Well, yes, that is literally human nature.
You have a tendency to fear the unknown, and when you fear something, you have a tendency to lash out against it. Now, I am not trying to make excuses here, not by any stretch of the imagination, because again, I was a kid, but I had nobody to set me aside and tell me that these fears were unwarranted. And
John, let me interrupt briefly. You're talking about
what you do.
That's what I do. Yeah, I'm very good at it too. You're talking about, in your case, probably the early 70s. Okay. We weren't quite there yet. Okay. Parents didn't sit you down and tell you anything.
No.
And
if they did, it was usually derogatory.
Right. It was be nice to everybody. And, look, we had a couple of families in the neighborhood. you know, we had a couple of black families in the neighborhood. Randy Brazil, they didn't live in the neighborhood, but and you know, these guys and the kids, you know, we all played together. You know, there was no big thing. Of course, when you're younger, you don't see that, and it's a shame because when you're 6 and 7 years old, you know, it's just Tommy, it's just Billy. You know, I to this day,
I want to interrupt you here now, because I do want to finish this point.
All right.
The fact is not, and we didn't have very many black kids in our neighborhood. Actually, we lived in a predominantly Mexican neighborhood.
See,
yeah, we didn't have a lot of black people, and I found myself being very afraid of some of the black people that I went to school with. And again, nobody to tell me that this was an unwarranted fear. Of course, I didn't really share this fear. I just stayed away. I just did my best to just kind of, segregated myself, if you will, because of this fear. But this fear that I had even translated went on into my teens and early 20s. I mean, I remember when I first started driving cab, I was scared, and for no reason really. I was afraid to drive the cab into black neighborhoods. I was, scared to death if I was sitting on a taxi stand somewhere and had a black man come to the car. I was automatically on the defensive. And if I can go, in the 38 years that I've been driving cab, I was telling some idiot the other day that I've had over the years have had less problems with black people than I have with white people in my cab.
I won't disagree with that.
But the fact of the matter is that I was deathly afraid. And when, like I said before here, when you're afraid of something, you have a tendency to lash out, to be, it's just normal reaction. Again, it's not an excuse, but it's something that you have to, if you haven't had that talk with your parents, it's on you. The onus is on you to try to get to know people, try to get to know everybody. Now I have, since I've been dealing with the public for as long as I have, and gotten to know black people and actually developed some really good friendships with some black people. I was the best man at one of the guys I worked with. I was the best man at his wedding. And these little things, those little opportunities that you have to learn about people of all races and backgrounds and what have you. But I guarantee you that I have to attribute a lot of where I am today on the fact that this is still a learning process. I tell you, between my job and luckily to be in the age of social media and have instant information at your fingertips, you learn about people. And I've had that opportunity to learn about people over time. My point in all this is that right now, if you are a white couple, you have a child, I think it is imperative. It is imperative that you are teaching your kids at an early age. I mean, Oliver's 3 years old. And I know that Oliver has a huge support system around him between his parents, between his uncles and aunt. I should say one uncle, one aunt on our side. Between Annie, I wish I had more time to spend with, but unfortunately, I'm on the street quite a bit. But they are teaching him about people. They are teaching him not, to respect everybody, to respect people regardless of color, regardless of whether they are gay or straight or transsexual. They are teaching him how to respect. And eventually I know that conversation will get into more about what the differences are for Black people as opposed to white people, or Oliver's half Mexican, but there's still, you have that conversation can't happen too soon. And I totally agree with the young lady. I wish I had put up that Star Tribune article. I might see if I can't get the link from Shaletta a little later on here about that. But if you're a grandparent, if you're a parent or a grandparent of a young child, I think getting that message out about race and about because you can't just use the people use the old adage, well, I don't see color. Everybody's I'm colorblind. And I used that excuse for a while too. But the fact of the matter is that as long as there is still the systemic racism that is going on to this very day, as long as Black people are treated differently by the police than white people are, this conversation still needs to happen. So I guess that's all I got. I'm going to tap out on that.
Well, well said, John. But also keep in mind a big thing, especially for kids. It doesn't matter whether it's Oliver today, whether it was you and I back in the Stone Age. We learn by what we see.
True.
We see. It comes down to the old do as I say, not as I do. Okay, you have to show these things. So look, we are different. Okay, a kid's curiosity at one point is going to say, "How come his skin is darker than mine?"
They did mention that, yeah.
And there's real reasons for that, and blah blah blah, and but. It all depends. Are you the one that is crossing the street because there's a Black couple walking the opposite direction? Your kid picks up on that. These are subtle clues. I'm not saying it has to be love, Brotherhood Week, but again, your children are going to learn by how you react to certain situations. Again, young Black children today, it pains me that I've learned in the past couple of years that parents have to have the quote unquote talk about how to behave with the police officer and all that, just so that they'll come home alive. Cops have to start rethinking this. You have to think, is the only reason you're pulling this person over is because they're quote unquote suspicious? Suspicious is not a crime.
No.
And that has to stop. I'm not saying that they haven't prevented crimes by pulling people over without question. Just the odds dictate that you would. But young man who happens to be African American is driving through a neighborhood and he's slowing down and he's stopping. You don't know, A, that he's not picking up a friend for the first time. B, he could be delivering food. There's a lot of legitimate reasons. Okay. That's when the police officer pulls up and says, can I help you? Oh, no, officer, I'm looking for my friend's house. It's 3812. Oh, that's on the other side of the street. That's where the police need to. There's no need for pull over, give me your ID, give me, what are you doing? You can be helpful in that situation. And then you don't get all these knee-jerk reactions, But again, I can't imagine having to have that chat just to make sure my kid comes home alive. Again, when I was younger, when we were still on the border of going from flat-out balls to the walls racism all over the place to actually not so much, in the civil rights movement and, all that came about when I was a teenager. And, we began to see things a little differently than our parents did. you know. Oh, I was going to say earlier, one of the things that bugs me to this day is when somebody will say, "Oh yeah, just go see the black guy." Well, why does it have to be the black guy? Why can't you just say the guy in the blue jacket?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say go see the white guy.
Yeah, it's one of those.
It bothers. It really and truly does. You know, now if everybody's in uniform, you know, and there's no discernible difference, okay, then the discernible difference is their skin tone. All right,
then the very last. But
the thing is, it's still the default for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not go see Officer Menendez. It's go see the lady cop.
Mm-hmm. So, by the way, speaking earlier there of suspicious, or being suspicious of a black person who might be a stranger in your neighborhood or whatnot. There's something that came out this last week that the Justice Department has charged the 3 men with that had hunted down and killed Ahmaud Arbery.
Oh, right outside of Atlanta.
Yeah, the 3 guys, they have been charged with a hate crime.
Good.
Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Rhodey. Oh, there's a good nickname for it. Let's call you Rhodey.
Good old boy.
Maybe it's Roddy. I don't know what it is, but William Bryan it is. They were indicted Wednesday for targeting and threatening Arbery because of his race. If you forgot.
What else was there? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you had forgotten, this was just a young black man that was just jogging through a neighborhood. He was only 2 miles away from his home. It's
these good old boy rednecks took it upon themselves.
Exactly. Now they're already facing murder charges, but now they're being charged now also with hate crimes, which I still want to get through the whole idea of hate crimes, and maybe one of these days when we have more time, we should talk a little bit more about this, because I think that if you go to the extent of murdering somebody, that should already be designated as a hate crime.
Oh, no. Look, just because I murder you doesn't mean I hate you.
Yeah, well, with the malice intended in that situation, yes.
Hey, you owed me $10. What could I do?
Jesus.
What could I do? You left me no choice. It's not that I wanted to. You understand. But that's how we do things here, and you'll get over it. Trust me, that's not forever.
Yeah.
It's not a permanent condition in some cases.
Well, especially if you wind up killing the person, then I guess it isn't a permanent condition now, is it?
We're just going to move on because you're destroying my bit now.
Oh. And doing so quite well, I might say.
Yeah. You took a sledgehammer to it. Well, we got a few minutes left, and
hey,
what else?
You watched the president speak here the other day.
Uh-huh.
Did you see the footage of Cancun cruise there dozing off?
Dozing, yeah. That just let's get off that. For the couple minutes we got left, let's get a little lighter. Although I'm not really a fan of college ball and the NFL draft in general, I gotta say,
Miami has a Dolphin, the greatest football.
Dolphins did pretty good in the draft, apparently. Got us some nice running backs. A guy named Waddle. You can never go wrong with somebody named Waddle. I'm sorry.
Well, wait a minute. I don't know. Is he a running back or a receiver? I think he was a receiver.
Whatever. His name is Waddle.
Well, I worry about somebody. That's kind of like a baseball pitcher named Balfour.
As long as he doesn't waddle on the field, we'll be just fine. Look, this kid's long since gotten past the waddle jokes, okay?
I'm sure.
Look, I think the whole thing is overblown, the NFL draft myself. I don't watch college ball, mainly because it's treated as the NFL minor leagues, but the players don't get a penny out of it. But be that as it may, look, this is something that can be done. And here's one thing I don't understand about the draft. So now this year, Jacksonville had the number one pick.
Mm-hmm.
Number one pick overall.
Mm-hmm.
I've never understood why the very first team is put on the clock. You've had 6 months to make this decision. Why are you on the clock? Why are we adding 15 more minutes to this? And by the way, what I fully don't understand, trades aside, especially in the first round, don't you have your list of people that you want in order that you want them? Okay, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. Now you're down to your, you know who you want, but who can you get? Why are we sitting now again? I'm not saying, you got to leave the opportunity open for trades, but I mean, good gravy. If you've got the 20th pick in the first round, you've had hours to make trades and do all this. But again, it's that very first pick. And this kid, is a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, I believe his name was. Big nose, long hair. I promise you, he will be out of Jacksonville before the ink is dry on his contract. By the way, I don't think Waddle will last 2 years, just simply based on the way he was dressed. Period. I know nothing else about the kid, but based on the way he was dressed, I think he's going to be another hot dog that flames out early. He's going to walk on that practice field, and his shit don't stink. And Coach Flores is going to go, no. Coach Flores has a plan, and it's working, and it's working well. We were one game short of the playoffs last year. One game.
Well, you could have said that. Okay, now if you're going to base that just simply on the way he was dressed, did you happen to watch? Did you happen to see it that the first round? I would guarantee you that we should admire some of these kids. Because you and I, if we tried to dress like that, any kind of situation of that magnitude, we would get laughed. We would get eggs thrown at us, for Christ's sake.
I had a conversation with Mike King the other day, and we were talking about I have a wedding coming up at the end of the month. And by the way, welcome to May, everybody. Oh, and before I forget, tomorrow, happy birthday to my brother Ray. I have a wedding at the end of the month. I got to buy a new suit and all that. And I'm looking forward to it because I used to like to dress nicely, and I haven't had the opportunity to do it in quite some time. So we're looking at now. Would I wear some of the more extreme stuff? Probably not. Would I wear a sleeveless suit jacket? Probably not. But I can pull it off, and I plan to. And you'll see at the end of the month.
Well, I want pictures, so.
Well, there'll be something. I can tell you that much. I can't say what, but there'll be something.
Just don't put them on Facebook.
Yeah, because that's going to happen. Now, pictures of me on Facebook, but not by my hand. Well, I think we've just about petered out here at the end there, sir.
Well, I got one more thing here. Now, I don't know if you've been paying. I don't know if you've been paying attention to Jeopardy. Well, Jesus. There you go, doing it again to me. So, this doesn't always mean white power. I'm just going to say this right now. This does not always mean white power. Figure it out.
Baby, won't you please
stop? Advantage.
I can't believe the things that you
say
every day. If you keep on talking, baby, you know you're bound to drive me away. Yes, if you keep on talking, baby, you know you're bound to drive me away. Yes. dear. Yes, I'm listening. Oh, I heard every word you said, honey. Yes. Yes, dear. Oh, I agree. You're right. Yeah, you're always right, baby. Yes, dear. Uh-huh.